Hey guys, Chris again, Manifest Concepts. Again, here we are. 150 PSI, and again it's being tested after the regulator. Again, Lee Lake's regulator is bad. I just want to point out something to you guys real quick, because there's been a lot of miscommunication from Lee Lake to you guys. They said that they turned off all of their regulators at the street. That's some pretty inaccurate information. Regulators don't have a valve to shut them off. If you look at the valve, you've got your pipe, you've got your, well, you do have a valve. It's called a curb stop or an angle stop. Comes from the water from the main in the street. So this, if you shut this off, it would shut off all the water in the entire thing. Just to show you guys that, let me turn on the valve. Okay, you can see the water's running out of the valve. If we come here, we shut it off. See, the pressure goes down to 0, and just a little bit of water is running out. Now it stops. Okay, and I come over here, turn it on, boom. You're at 100 psi. The reason you're at 100 psi is because you're letting some of the pressure off coming out here. Shut it off, boom, you're creeping up to 150 psi again. So that's the only valve at the regulator. There's no other valve here at all. There's just a nipple going into the regulator, a nipple coming out of the regulator, and then this bent tube going over, which connects to the water meter. You do have this nut on top here. It's a little hard to see with all the dirt, but we'll get it cleaned off. You have this nut right here. That's the only moving part on the exterior of a regulator. And you adjust this this way, counterclockwise, to decrease the pressure, and you adjust it clockwise, typically, to increase the pressure. There is no way to shut this off, and the bolt is rusty. It's rusted on. So if they're telling you that they shut the regulator off, well, if you shut the regulator off, the only way to do it is that valve. Then you shut the water off to your house. So there is no way to shut it off. They're giving out false information or inaccurate information, however, whatever term you want to use. The information is wrong. You cannot shut off a regulator at all. Most all regulators can take 400 psi in at 140 degrees Fahrenheit and reduce it to between 15 or 75 psi depending on where you adjust this nut. Okay, you can see that the nut is seated all the way down. Remember, I told you clockwise increases the pressure. Well, the maximum pressure that this can put out when it's working appropriately is 75 psi, and it's all the way down, which means it was set to put water at 75 psi. So, I mean, you know, do the math, do the science, whatever you want to call it. These regulators are broken, they're damaged, they're not turned off. They can cause water hammer by the spring and the diaphragm, and they're being broken, which can then turn into leaks on your property and what have you. So, rule of thumb, get your pressure regulators at your house. If you have one on your sprinkler lines, get those checked once a year to once every 2 years. And if you live in Lee Lake or a district that has these, which is regulators on the city side, which is fairly uncommon, it's a good idea to get your pressure checked there so you don't have issues throughout your property. This one is damaged, so it's going to have to be removed. Talk to you guys soon.